Listen, sister, listen to that voice within. Listen, sister, come on in. Surrender to the river of unfolding that runs beneath your belly and heart. Surrender to the river of unfolding, for now's the time to start. Listen, brother, listen to that voice within. Listen, brother, come on in. Surrender to the river of unfolding that runs beneath your belly and heart. Surrender to the river of unfolding, for now's the time to start. Listen, people, listen to that voice within. Listen, people, come on in. Surrender to the river of unfolding. It touches everyone you see. Surrender to the river of unfolding. It starts with you and me. It starts in you and me.
Hi and welcome to Frejas Fiber. This is a knitting podcast by me, Sigrid, and I'm Freya's mother. Freya's not here at the moment, she's with her dad, so I'm just taking a little moment to record a podcast episode. Because I've finished some things and I've gotten some new yarn, and I just thought I would make maybe a shorter episode and put up just to talk to you guys that are subscribing and following or watching. So welcome if you're a new viewer, and thank you if you're a returning viewer. I really enjoy making this podcast. It's a small one, but I love to get your comments and, just having knitting friends all over the world. I wish we all lived in the same village. I live in a little village on the countryside in the south of Sweden, on the east coast. East coast in south of Sweden, on a beautiful place called Österlen. They say that Österlen is like the Mediterranean area of Sweden. It feels like you're in Provence or Italy, and I can get some actually Great Britain vibes too. There's a lot of different nature here. Sometimes it's really flat and a lot of forest, and sometimes it's by the coast and really steep cliffs, and you got hills, big hills, and I just really love it here. I wanted to live here since I was a teenager, and now I do. I live with my little daughter in this little cottage in a tiny village. We live next to a church that's really beautiful. a Waldorf teacher. So I work at a Waldorf school. I have a class 6. And yeah, that's a couple of 20 minutes away. And Freja goes to a Waldorf kindergarten close to my job. It's an amazing place with amazing staff and food and environment, and yeah, so that's my life. My biggest interest is of course to knit, and that's why I have this podcast, to be able to talk about my knitting and maybe talk to more knitters and feel more connected to the knitting world, because I don't have a lot of close friends that knit. I have one local friend that knits, Amanda, and I'm going, just after I record this, we're going to go to some secondhand shops and take a coffee and sit down and knit. But first I wanted to talk to you guys. Yeah, this is a rainy Saturday. It's a fall autumn day, and I just love autumn. I think this is how other people feel about summer. Like, they really enjoy it, but I really enjoy fall. You know, taking out your knits, putting on your knitted cardigans again, or shawls, and just watching the colors and the nature change. This is my season. I love fall or autumn, whatever you want to call it. So I'm really happy about that. Life has been pretty hectic. It's been a big change for me to work and have Freja at kindergarten. Before she was, I was on maternity leave, then her dad was on paternity leave, and we split up, and then she was with my mom for a couple of months when I was working. But now I have to go and pick her up at specific times and leave her at specific times, and yeah, it's been a big change in my life, and but things are starting to fall into place. It's getting better, but it's really hard. I don't have a big social network here because we moved here just about 1.5 years ago, and my friends and yeah, people I know here also had small kids, so but who knows? I think I should start with finished objects. There are not so many, but I still wanted to show you. The first thing I finished is the Stour cardigan. The pattern is by Rowan. Pattern designer is Martin Story. You might have seen an episode with him on the podcast Fruity Knitting. This is a really deep dark chocolate, but on my screen it kind of looks like a beige almost. So this is a cardigan for my boyfriend, and I used some, I talked about this in the last episode. I don't remember how long I had gotten yet, but yeah, what should I say about it that I didn't say last time? You seam it all together. It's supposed to be a beginner's pattern, but I'm not sure I agree that seaming is for beginners or anyone. I really like to just knit in everything in one piece and pick up stitches and stuff like that. But this is seamed, and I think I did pretty well. I got these leather buttons. I don't know if you can see them. I got them at a yarn shop in Denmark, but I think really hit the spot. in this cardigan. I think it turned out a little bit too short. I actually did it longer than the pattern called for, but I also think it will stretch out in time because it's really heavy. It was a pretty thick yarn and big needles, but it still took a lot of time, many hours. But I'm really happy with it, and he's using it and it fits him really well. So I'm happy with that. So that was a big project that I finished. I cast on a tiny project that I didn't show you in the last episode. I did some Barnehagevotter, that's like kindergarten mittens in Norwegian. This Norwegian lady has made a pattern, and I don't know, I'm not sure if I've seen anyone on Instagram that's Norwegian and has kids that hasn't done these. They're really big on Instagram, at least in Norway. And yeah, I used purple skein of this lovely dusty lilac or purple, whatever you want to call it, from Ölands Ullcentrum. Öland is an island next to Sweden. It's a Swedish island, of course, and I lived there when I was a child. And they collect wool that would otherwise have been burnt, because in Sweden we're not really good at taking care of the wool because it's such a long process and hard process to make it into yarn. But they collect wool and make wonderful yarn with it. It's really rustic, the yarn. I'm usually not for rustic. This yarn is pretty rustic to me. I'm not really into that, but it gets really soft, much softer when you block it. And I have roughed the insides so they're really soft. And I used an alpakka yarn here at the wrist where it will be close to her, so I don't think this will itch. And I put up a picture of these on my Instagram when they were finished and said, what should I embroider them with? These were just, I just wanted to make quick mittens that I wouldn't be too sad if she lost. But I just felt when they were finished, I need to embroider something. But then they become more precious, and then I will get more sad if she loses them. But anyway, the mother of Freya's cousins wrote I should embroider forget-me-nots so I don't forget them, and I thought that was really sweet. So I did that, and another knitting friend said stars, and I thought that was really suitable for the colors here. So I'm gonna show you what I did. I did some French knots with some blue yarn and some green leaves and a little star here, and similar but not the same on the other one. Don't know if you can see. So these are finished for Freya. She has tried them on, but she hasn't used them yet because it's not that cold yet here in south of Sweden. But it is any day now. I think she will need them. But I'm gonna put a string of yarn to bind them together, and then I put it in her coat so they can just hang there if she loses them, or if she takes them off. And probably that will result in her or me not losing them. I don't know, I get so sad when I lose things that I've knitted. I don't think it has happened too many times, but I've read about other people losing their knits, and yeah, it's really sad. Or when you wash it in the washing machine. Another Instagram acquaintance I have that make really nice patterns. She's called Play Sweet Music on Instagram, and she's a Swedish woman, and she has a son in Freya's age, and she made him a really complicated, really nice sweater in nice yarn, and she put it in the wool program, and when she didn't look, the child went up to the washing machine and switched the program to like a hot program. So it got really felted and tiny, and she could use it. He couldn't use the the sweater, that was just a horror story. I can barely talk about it. It seems so horrible. To be finished with a project that took you a long time, probably a lot of money for the yarn, and just have it destroyed before anyone had the chance to wear it. Sounds awful. So I'm really careful with my knits, and yeah. So my aim was to make a pair of mittens that I wasn't so scared of her losing or destroying, but now I really love them, so I am really scared of her losing them. So they look like this together. So I would put a string there, so probably she won't lose them. I hope not. But I really love them. And yesterday, my boyfriend came home to me and said, because I just finished his cardigan, and I was like, I'm not gonna knit something for you in a while. I need to knit for myself and Freya, because this was a big project. I'm gonna knit him a hat, and I've said I'm gonna knit him wrist warmers or half mittens. And he was like, well, it's getting kind of cold, so I'm thinking about buying some mittens. I know you have a lot of things to knit, so I thought that would be easier for you. And I went a little grumpy, and I was like, no, let me sleep on it. And I slept on it, and then I texted him yesterday like, no, don't buy any, I'll make you some. So I cast on these yesterday, and I finished them. It's in the same yarn as the cardigan, and it's a super easy pattern with some ribbing here and here, ribbing on the thumb, and I just made a little row of changing colors, a little pattern there, just to make it somewhat interesting. Things I'm knitting for him are mostly orange and brown and some white, but he likes those colors and he looks good in them, so I just made these yesterday. They're still a bit damp because they were blocking tonight during the night. So yeah, those are finished too. So that was all actually for finished objects. But I want to talk about the ones that I'm knitting on right now. Because right now I have two projects that I really enjoy. I'm enjoying every stitch and every row of these projects, and they bring me so much comfort during the day. And yeah, if you're a returning viewer, you know that I liked soft. I enjoy the look and feel of rustic yarn, and you know, the making of it, and that it's really natural, but it itches if I have it close to my body. That makes me sad, but I also really enjoy soft yarns, and that I can have next to my body, and that's what I use the most when I knit something that's really soft and I can have directly on my skin and not have to wear a long sleeved sweater or dress underneath. That really helps, and I realize that is what I use the most. So right now I have two really soft projects on my needles, and it's just like creating clouds. I'll start with this one. I love here needles. They are my favorite, the sharp ones. I almost only use them, but I hate the cables. I'm also, if you're a returning viewer, you know that I don't like bright colors. And this is a super bright turquoise, and it never matches anything, and it's just not nice. I don't understand why they can't make black or see-through cables or something like a gray cable, whatever, just not this color that almost won't go with any other color. Sorry, I'm picky about things like that. But this lovely, dreamy cloud is becoming a shawl for me. The pattern is the Together shawl by my dear friend Sofia Kammeborn. And as always, I've made some of her patterns before, and as always they're beautifully written. It's a nice looking pattern, like the graphics designs are usually very nice. They're always really nice, and it's so easy to follow. I'm actually reading the pattern in English, not in Swedish, because I mostly read English patterns, so I actually have a hard time understanding Swedish patterns. But even if her mother tongue is Swedish, the English pattern is really good and easy to understand, and she's so thorough with everything. She's like really every step and explains things. What I get annoyed about is some patterns that are just really short and don't, just assuming that you'll understand can be a bit annoying for me. And yeah, but her patterns are always really, I don't know, just clear and yeah, easy to understand and lovely to make. So as you can see, there are bobbles in this. The only thing I've done is that I made the bobbles a little bit bigger than what the pattern calls for, because this is also knitted at a totally different gauge than her pattern. Her pattern is, I don't know what needle size it's supposed to be, maybe 4 or something, and I have needles 7 millimeters, and I have the loveliest yarn in this project. Oh my god. It's gonna be a dream to wrap myself in this. And I started to talk about the yarn in the last episode. Let me see if I have it here. Nope, not right now. But I bought a skein of a Danish woman called Sabine. I think it's Sabine or Sabina. When I was in Denmark in the end of summer. And it was just the dreamiest yarn that I've ever seen and held. I was like stroking the skein. I almost slept with it at the hotel just because it was so cozy. And I just got one skein and I really regretted that. And I knew I wanted to make a shawl because I wanted to wrap myself in this. So I found the maker on Instagram and followed her and asked her if I can order some more, because it is amazing. I've actually also sent her some questions that she will answer, and I will put it on the podcast because she's amazing. She has such a divine sense of colors and also materials, I think. So I actually ordered another skein, and I mean, just look at this. Just look at this. This is my ultimate dream yarn. It's thick, really thick mohair, as you probably can see, and it just has so many beautiful colors in it. Yeah. So this is my second skein that I ordered from her. I live pretty close to Denmark, so I got it pretty fast. And yeah, she does another amazing colorways, and but this is the one that I really fell for. It's called Soft Bunny Ears in Danish. I know I talked about it in the last podcast too, but I just wanted to show you a big skein in all its glory. What it looks like. I wish you could touch it too. It's just so nice. I love it. And I'm in awe of this yarn. So that's really nice. And that made me think about more yarn that I got. Like I said, I'm using this yarn in the shawl, but I'm also using one strand of Borstet alpakka from Sandnes garn. Because I wanted the bobbles to be in white, and so I make a line with just the white Borstet alpakka yarn. and it just looks like this, also a little fluffy cloud. And I make the row with the bubbles in this one so that the other yarn will last longer and make all the bubbles in white. So that's gonna be super cozy to wrap myself in. I was actually gonna show you one more project before I talk about some more yarn. I am making a pattern from Petite Knit. Who isn't nowadays? She's really an appreciated designer, I think. And I'm making a sweater for Freya. Because I just had this idea that I wanted to make her a sweater. I usually make her cardigans because I think they're easier to open and take off and put on. But since it's getting a bit chillier here, I just wanted her to have a really soft sweater that I can put on her cold mornings when I leave her before I leave her at kindergarten. And my vision was just something super soft, and I have really done that. It doesn't look much right now, but this is the beginning of a Bamsesweater by Petite Knit. Maybe you've seen it. It's a sweater for kids with a little teddy bear face on it. And I used alpakka silk from Sandnes here. So it's alpaca and silk. And then I had some mystery yarn in my stash, as you can see it. I have no idea what it was, but it's a big skein. It was a warm white, and it was soft. And then I had some leftovers from my sorbet cardigan, a silk and mohair yarn. I think it's Angel by Perman, maybe, and that I got secondhand. I bought it at this website, a Swedish website called Tradera, where you can buy things that people sell secondhand. And I think it was 23 balls of mohair yarn in different colors that I just bid on and won. And it was amazing colors. And I made a sorbet cardigan, even if I didn't plan on making one. But when I saw the colors, I was like, this would be a pretty nice sorbet cardigan. And I've been using it so much. I'm showing it in the last episode if you want to see it, or on my Instagram. So this is just a dream to knit. It's so soft to hold, and it's a good pattern. It's really fun to knit. I'm just making the increases. I always get mixed up by increases and decreases, but I'm increasing. I'm making it bigger, because in Swedish, inte means not, so it gets mixed up in my head. But I'm making the raglan seams right now, and it was some German short rows in the back that I rarely can spot. I love German short rows, they're really nice. So I'm gonna embroider a little teddy bear face here, and I'm gonna put the yarn for the ribbing here also on the sleeves and in the end of the sweater. And I just think this will be such a cozy sweater for Freya. And it's, like I said, such a joy to knit right now. I love it. Oh, here was a little ball of yarn from the other yarn I talked about. The Soft Bunny Ears by Sabina. Or Sabina, I'm sorry that I don't remember correctly. So, talking about yarn. I got some black silk mohair from Sandnes, from Garnaffaren, my sponsor, and I'm gonna make the Wrap Me Up cardigan in black. I'm gonna knit in black and in mohair. I'm not sure what that will be like. I know it's hard to knit in black because you can't really see stitches, and also in mohair, so this might be really nice or it might become a nightmare, but I really need a black cardigan. I don't have a nice one, and I think it's hard finding a pattern. I think I talked about this before, but I think it's hard finding a pattern that looks nice enough to knit it instead of buying just a black cardigan. But I think I would really use a big puffy wrap cardigan in mohair. So that's what I'm gonna cast on in the future. So I got these, and like I said, I got this really nice purple yarn. I was in a little village called Kivik, where they grow a lot of apples and make apple cider and stuff like that. And next to the harbor, there's a little store with yeah, local things, natural things, and it's like a farmer's market gift shop, I would almost say. And they have some yarn from Ölands Ullcentrum. So I saw this yarn and I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy it, I'm gonna save money. I try to not overindulge in things and save money, and you know, save money and spend time instead. But I could not stop thinking about this yarn. I really wanted to make mittens for Freya in it and socks. So one day I was at the cafe there, and I just took a little walk down to the harbor and got the yarn. And then Sofia Kammeborn wrote to me and said, I have some dusty pink in this, do you want it? And I was like, yes, please. I really want it. And yesterday was a really gloomy, rainy Friday, and I just left Freya at her dad's, and that always makes me a little bit sad. I know she has a great time, but you know, I still miss her. And it's just for the weekend, but yeah. And then I got a little text that I had a parcel to pick up at the post office. So I went there and I got yarn. It turns out a little bit warmer on the screen, I think, than it is. So I can see that this is pink dyed on grey. So it's like the perfect pink shade. So she sent me 2 balls of that, and a ball of a warmer pink, a really bright warm pink, and some white. So all of these, plus my own, I mean, this will turn into something nice. Can you see it? So thank you, Sofia. I love the yarn, and I really want to make socks for Freya. I'm not sure what pattern I'm going to use yet, and maybe I'm just going to do some crazy stripes, or if I'm going to use a pattern, I don't know. But I just love the feel and of course the smell of the yarn. Everybody smells their yarns, right? But yeah, this is from Ölands Ullcentrum. I think it's really good and sustainable company. So that's what's happening right now. I'm gonna go and have a coffee with my friend Amanda, that's also a knitter. And we're gonna go secondhand shopping and have a coffee and a knit. So I hope you all are having a great weekend. I probably won't make it to upload this video this weekend, but I just wanted to say hello, and I also wanted to remind you that we are having a knit along. Garnaffaren.se is a Swedish local yarn shop and a web shop, and they have sponsored me before, and we are having a knit along together with my scrunchie recipe. So if you don't want to know the details, just go back to my channel, my page, and look at the video with the announcing of the knit along. The thought is that you can get the pattern. If you want it in English, you just message me on Instagram, and if you want it in Swedish, it's on their blog, and all the details are in the previous video that I did. And yeah, this is one of the ones that I've made in mohair, and it's just, yeah, a mohair dream cloud. So we're gonna pick a winner of the knit along. Everyone are winners if they knit something, of course, but we're gonna choose 1 or 2 winners. If the winner is living in Sweden, they get a gift card at Garnaffaren, the yarn shop. And if you are competing but live outside of Sweden, I'm gonna buy patterns for you of your choice at Ravelry for the same amount. It's about €30. But I was almost thinking about changing the price for the international contestants. Do you say that? Participants? Maybe I should make it a gift card at the Woolly Thistle instead. What do you think? Maybe that would be more fun to win. Let me know what you think in the comments, and go check out the latest video for more information about this knit along. I've seen some people have already started and been using the hashtags on Instagram, and it's really nice to see. I'm gonna upload some stories on my Instagram also on how to knit these, and we're gonna pick a winner. So yeah, head on over there and let me know what you think. Should I change the price to winning a gift card at Woolly Thistle instead? I don't know. Let me know, and take care. Thank you for watching, and happy knitting.